My name is Grace Diller, and I'm sharing my story for a second chance. And it's probably a believe it or not story. So just know that it is true. And I'm really pleased to present it to you. And I'd like to say thanks to the Burien Culture Hub for hosting this program, along with the Highline Heritage Museum, Burien Arts, and the B-Town blog. So my second chance story is about receiving a rental house in the Caribbean. So I lived in the Caribbean for 7 years. I'm a teacher by profession, and I started a nonprofit that delivered programs and expertise in different skill areas to young adults in a Caribbean country. So the saga of my story starts with taking a break to the United States. So while I was in Haiti, I also was an embassy warden. So a warden is a person that is responsible for communicating to the expatriate community. And we were about 34,000, which is quite a bit for a small country in Haiti, mostly consisting of um, philanthropists, missionaries, volunteers doing good works, and especially a lot of educators. So I was invited to a party and I won the door prize, which was tickets back to the United States. So we decided to take the tickets and go to Florida. We'd been there for 2 years and we wanted a break. So we put out a call to the expatriate community and said, we've got a nice house with furniture and we'd like to take a break. And if anybody would like to stay in our house, it would be wonderful. And a couple did step up and stayed in our house, which was fine. We welcomed them and thanked them for having a heart for Haiti. And then we found our way to a community in Florida where we spent a month and really enjoyed the vacation. Well, when we were in Florida, we communicated back and forth with the couple that were in our house, and they were to look for another house to rent, and we were to return to our house that we rented. And it was a tiny little house on top of a mountain top that had a view of the Caribbean. And even though it was a very small house, we absolutely loved the location. It suited well for access to the school that I had started and been working in for a couple years. So very confident everything was going well, but however, under the surface, it wasn't. So we found out later that this couple had told our landlord that we weren't coming back and put the lease in their name. Oh my gosh, yes, that was a problem. So we left them our furniture, our food, our dishes in the cupboard, and our car, and expected to have all of that when we came back. So after a couple months, we said, we've just really need to come back. We hadn't known at that point that they had put the contract in their name. So we said, okay, no problem. You can share the house with us. Just have our car at the airport when we arrive. And they said, well, you're not coming back to your house because we put it in our name. Oh my gosh, that was a big surprise. So having a commitment to our school and knowing that we needed to get back, we went back anyway. Where did we stay? We were in a boys' orphanage for about a month, which was a wonderful experience. I had the opportunity to work with uh, a Catholic priest who was just wonderful. He started an orphanage for boys that were discarded. A lot of them had disabilities or deformities, and so these kids really needed help of orphanages. And we were there for about a month. It was a wonderful experience, teaching and working with the kids, but it wasn't what we were intending to do, which was continue with our school in a much larger capacity. So, being frustrated with the situation and not knowing how to solve this, I thought, okay, I'm going to bundle up my baby, who was about 6 months old by then, and I went out to the main street and started hitchhiking. I was going to go to church. On the way, now this was embargo, there were very few vehicles except for buses, which they call tap taps. So these buses were totally filled with people. And of course, couldn't get a spot because I was down halfway from the mountain and they filled up right at the top of the mountain. So getting into downtown Port-au-Prince was really difficult. I walked for quite a ways, and then finally an expatriate picked me up and he said, what are you doing walking on the street? And I said, well, I'm going to Quisqueya, the church that was the expatriate church in Haiti. So on our way there, I shared our situation that we'd come back but didn't have our house available to us. And so we were staying at the orphanage and helping out there until we could secure our own home again. And he said, well, I just happen to know of somebody that needs somebody to stay in their house for about a year while they took a sabbatical. And I said, well, that sounds wonderful. I'd like to pursue it. And so I did. And we found out that it was a house that was like 3 times as big as ours. It was also on a mountaintop and had a wonderful view, which was, I love a territorial view, and when it includes a water view, it's fantastic. So we negotiated, and they said, you can stay in our house free of charge, which was wonderful. In our other rental, we had to pay rent. And so in this very large house, we had meetings with our students, and we did have a school with a classroom that we went to back and forth, but we had a lot of meetings in our home because it was a lovely, large home. And the part about the car, well, the other couple had blown it up. They didn't put water in it coming up the mountainside one time, and so it was never at the airport to meet us. We didn't have a car when we were there, so we were relying totally on public transportation. But on this mountaintop, I had a friend a Haitian friend who was fairly well to do, and she had just bought a new Mercedes. And of course, being upper class, she had a chauffeur. And she just said, Grace, wherever you need to go, I will take you in my car, and my chauffeur will drive you wherever you want. And so here's the situation. It's like a believe it or not, we ended up with a house and transportation that we had no idea that it was going to happen. And so this is my second chance story about pursuing a vision when it seems impossible, and knowing that you've got a calling or something that you've got to do despite the circumstances. And, it was really hard for me. I had a lot of hard feelings toward that couple that basically deceived us and didn't tell us the truth. But I got past that, and I think it was getting past that that helped put everything in place. So know that second chances are out there for everyone, and I am not unusual or unique. And so I encourage you to just keep doing what you're doing, and especially in this time of social distancing with this coronavirus thing that we're all dealing with, know that you may feel like you're on hold and searching for an outlet, but know that there is hope and there is a future, and second chances are always possible. So take it from somebody that has received a second chance, and just apply it to whatever meets your situation. And thank you very much for the opportunity to share this very personal experience. I don't share it often, and so it's kind of a little stressful to know that other people may be hearing it, but I hope that it is used for good. And thank you very much.